We have just received a statement from Buckingham Palace. The statement says it is with deep sorrow that His Majesty passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. We have just received this information from Buckingham Palace.
The entire country stood still as breaking news echoed like a sudden storm across the United Kingdom. King Charles III, the unwavering monarch who had steered the nation through trying times with quiet strength, had peacefully passed away at Balmoral Castle. The heartbreak was immediate, felt from the lively streets of London to the serene corners of the Scottish countryside. People clustered in silence, many with tears streaking their cheeks, as flags were lowered to half, and church bells rang with mournful cadence. Royal aides spoke softly of the immense sorrow behind the palace doors, a sense of loss that felt too immense to grasp. What truly unfolded during those final moments? And how did it mark the beginning of a new chapter that would impact so many? Stay with us. And don't forget to subscribe for more royal updates. There's something deeply enduring about how a country grieves its sovereign. It surpasses politics and ceremonial customs. It's rooted in collective memories like Charles's passionate work on climate issues or his heartfelt interactions with everyday citizens. Yet even as sadness gripped the nation, eyes began to shift toward what lay ahead to Prince William, long viewed as a steady and hopeful successor. For years, public opinion had placed William and his wife Catherine as the most admired royals, with approval scores consistently topping 70% in recent polls. Their family life struck a perfect chord, relatable, yet noble, and had won hearts across the globe. What truly endeared fans was William's calm strength, forged through decades of public service. It wasn't showy or contrived. It felt sincere, shaped by a powerful sense of responsibility passed down from his grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth II. As the shock waves of Charles's death rippled across the nation, social media filled with memorials from touching tributes to vintage images of Charles during his prime. But underneath the mourning, something else stirred. Quiet talk of the succession process known as Operation Monarchy began to surface, revealing a carefully laid path for the days ahead. This wasn't only about saying goodbye. It was about preserving the legacy of a monarchy that had lasted 4 generations, and in this transition, William and Catherine would step into roles that would push their partnership into uncharted territory. Their shared moments, whether on family outings or official engagements, had always carried unspoken meaning. A supportive glance, a hand gently placed, these small gestures conveyed their genuine bond, even under constant public scrutiny. That's why this story resonates so deeply. It isn't only about titles or pageantry, it's about a family enduring monumental change, and how one couple's quiet resilience could help unify a nation in mourning. What followed next touched even the most seasoned royal commentators. The iconic palace gates, long symbols of tradition, now served as the backdrop for a nationwide outpouring of grief. Flowers piled sky-high, handwritten messages fluttered in the breeze. It was a moment of collective transformation felt more profoundly than anyone had predicted. Observers noticed how the royal family leaned on one another, their unity shining through the sorrow. But some of the most significant moments happened away from the spotlight, quiet moments that reshaped the future for William and Catherine. The official palace declaration came next. In the still hours following King Charles's passing, Buckingham Palace issued a formal statement that echoed around the world. It confirmed what many had feared but anticipated. Prince William would ascend as His Majesty King William V. The announcement was brief, yet steeped in meaning, reflecting the enduring stability of the crown. Catherine's loyal partner of more than 20 years was named Queen Consort, Her Majesty Queen Catherine of Windsor. Insiders revealed the couple had long been preparing for this moment, though no preparation could soften the emotional impact. The message outlined the period of national mourning, during which all public engagements were halted and officials wore black armbands, a clear nod to tradition, just like the steps mapped out in Operation Monarchy Bridge. That plan, quietly rehearsed for years, took its name from a historic Welsh bridge, known for symbolizing unity, a fitting metaphor for this passage between reigns. It's often said you learn a great deal about a family by how they respond in difficult times. For William and Catherine, it became a story of togetherness. Their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, were gently shielded from the intense media storm, giving the new king and queen space to focus on their responsibilities. One particularly moving image emerged of William walking alone on the Balmoral estate, deep in thought as he reflected on his father's legacy. Later, Catherine joined him, their hands clasped together in silent comfort. This wasn't about assuming power, it was about paying tribute to a life of service and moving forward with dignity. Royal followers had always admired Catherine's ability to blend modern values with timeless tradition. Her family nickname, Cath, used affectionately within palace walls, captured her genuine nature. It wasn't an act. It reflected a strength that had helped her navigate media pressure and personal trials alike. As word of the transition spread, world leaders from presidents to prime ministers sent their condolences, a testament to Charles's global influence. But for many in Britain, this loss struck far closer to home. Recent polls showed overwhelming backing for William's rise to the throne, with 66% believing he would be an outstanding monarch. This widespread support hadn't happened by chance. It was built over years of consistent charitable outreach, from championing mental health awareness to supporting environmental causes. And perhaps what made his appeal most powerful was how authentic it all felt, never rehearsed, never forced. William never craved attention. He earned admiration through quiet perseverance. And behind that calm presence was a guiding light, someone who had profoundly shaped his journey. That person was Catherine. Her role wasn't just supportive, it was transformative. She had always been more than just a royal consort. She was a true partner, a loving mother, and now a queen poised to redefine her place in history. Then came the accession council, formal events steeped in centuries of tradition, held at St. James's Palace. It served as the official recognition of William's rise to the throne. Privy councillors, lords, and dignitaries gathered in solemn attire, bearing witness to history. William pledged his loyalty and accepted his role as monarch, with Catherine standing firmly beside him, her calm presence grounding the room in that weighty moment. It wasn't merely a ritual, it was a turning point that stirred emotions deeply across the chamber. As per long-established tradition, the council met within a day of the monarch's passing and declared him King William V with thunderous approval. The air carried echoes of past ceremonies, such as Charles's own ascension after Queen Elizabeth's passing, where legacy and current events intertwined seamlessly. What stood out to many observers was the soft, meaningful interaction between the royal couple. A nod, a warm smile. These understated gestures revealed a deep connection, one built not on duty alone but on genuine companionship. During the ceremony, passages from historic documents were read aloud, reinforcing the monarchy's enduring significance. William's speech was steady, yet full of emotion, promising to serve with the same devotion as those who came before him. Catherine, now officially acknowledged as queen consort, was recognized for her steadfast role, similar to how Camilla had been introduced following Charles's accession. Over time, as precedent allows, the term consort may fade in public use, signaling Catherine's evolving presence in royal life. Every monarch faces defining milestones, but few unfold under such a global lens. For William, this moment was reminiscent of his grandmother's coronation, his emergence into full public view. Images of William and Catherine arriving hand in hand at the palace captivated audiences around the world. Their expressions, pride with solemn purpose, captured exactly what the moment meant. But perhaps the most touching instance occurred during William's oath, when he paid tribute to his father's environmental work, vowing to carry it forward. Catherine's soft hand on his arm spoke volumes, offering silent encouragement, recognizing the weight of the crown and the man now wearing it. Yet the significance of that moment didn't stay confined to palace walls. It rippled outward, helping a nation process its sorrow and find connection again. Catherine's role at home was just as essential as her public one. Some individuals lead with quiet strength, and for Prince George, now the heir apparent, that strength came from his parents. In private moments after the ceremony, Catherine was seen comforting the children, explaining the changes ahead with care and simplicity. Whether it was sharing memories of their grandfather or wrapping them in a reassuring embrace, she instinctively knew how to bring calm. Prince Louis mirrored her steadiness, while Charlotte offered her quiet support. Together, they created a portrait of stability, with Catherine at the center leading gently. Even young George, growing into his future role, was already benefiting from her influence. What's compelling is how Catherine's values are shaping William's reign. Her focus on mental wellness and family unity is crafting a version of monarchy that reflects their personal priorities. And while the world sees her composure and grace in public, the deeper work is unfolding behind closed doors. Their shared vision for a flexible, future-ready monarchy. With his formal rise, King William V stepped confidently into a role that few ever fully prepare for. The quiet prince was now the face of a modern crown, his composure surprising even those closest to him. Gone was the image of the waiting heir. In his place stood a monarch many had long hoped for. Public response surged, with praise pouring in from all corners. One viewer commented that William's 76% approval rating solidified him as the monarchy's backbone. This admiration wasn't about rank, it was about a man who matured before the world's eyes, shaped by personal tragedy and public responsibility. Subtle shifts were already visible. The clarity in his public addresses, his continuation of Charles's legacy with efforts like the Earthshot Prize. The power of it all lay in its sincerity and never felt rehearsed, only heartfelt. One moment that resonated deeply was his first official address from Buckingham Palace. With tears barely held back, William spoke of his father's wisdom and the unity of the nation. Catherine's influence was apparent. Her quiet input helped shape a message that truly connected. She's long been the one who grounds everything, whether during school drop-offs or grand royal engagements. Her parenting, but unassuming, has seamlessly carried into her new role as queen. It's not about being flawless, it's about being steady and sure. And the result? William looked entirely at ease, as if this had always been his path. That's the beauty of Catherine's role. She's helping him step into leadership while staying true to himself. William has often said that family comes before everything, and his actions speak to that truth. But the journey to the throne wasn't defined by a single moment. It was shaped by emotional landmarks: his wedding day, the birth of his children, and the trials of leadership that followed. One major turning point came during King Charles's health struggles, when William quietly assumed more responsibilities, a clear sign of his growing readiness. Later, public engagements like meeting mourners outside Windsor showcased a new layer of maturity. His wave firm but warm echoed the calm presence once shown by Queen Elizabeth herself, and perhaps the most stirring image of all, William walking behind his father's casket during the funeral procession, head held high, eyes forward, not just as a grieving son but as the monarch Britain had been waiting for. He stood tall, honoring age-old customs with quiet pride. In that instant, the public saw a man who had truly stepped into his destiny. Catherine's hand resting gently at his side spoke volumes without a single word. Yet William's transformation wasn't confined to ceremonial halls. At home, he was the steady hand balancing mourning with mentorship for his children. Charlotte, often referred to as the family's gentle guide, mirrored his calmness. Whether offering comfort to Louis or checking on George with soft concern, she followed William's composed lead. Within this royal household, it was clear he was at the center, even beyond his immediate family. William's quiet strength had a ripple effect. His relationship with Harry, fragile, yet laced with subtle gestures of hope, remained layered. Through shared tributes, the bond hinted at healing but still echoed with complexity. What's remarkable is how William's character is reshaping. The crown, his self-assured nature, fosters a different kind of loyalty, one built not on strict rules but thoughtful support. And through it all, he's setting the tone for a reign that balances heritage with vision. The evolution of Catherine into Queen Catherine's rise to Queen Catherine captivated not only the public but the world's imagination. Once the grounded duchess, familiar to so many, she now carried an air of quiet authority that demanded attention. Something had changed, not just her posture, but her essence. The woman who once approached royal engagements with reserved grace now stepped confidently into an international spotlight. Behind palace doors, she and William had always protected their family life, but now she stood front and center. A defining moment came during her first solo appearance as queen, as she greeted international dignitaries at a memorial service. No longer simply in attendance, she led conversations, asking thoughtful questions about King Charles's enduring impact. William exchanged a quick glance with his aides. It wasn't just admiration, it was realization. They weren't just witnessing his wife, they were seeing her emerge fully into her calling. It stirred something in him. It was evident. His partner was stepping into greatness. Observers took note of how Catherine now walked ahead during public vigils, her gaze purposeful, her timing impeccable, knowing precisely when to speak and when to simply be present. And what made it so compelling? It felt authentic. Nothing about it was put on. Behind her presence was a strong influence of her upbringing. Her roots in a middle-class family shaped her instincts. She's always led as a mother first, whether it was smoothing Charlotte's hair at Wimbledon or offering a reassuring smile at a crowded event. Now, as queen, she extended that calm strength to an entire nation. She didn't lead through rigidity. She brought clarity. She prepared thoughtfully, without overwhelming detail. The result was a monarchy that felt less distant, more real. It wasn't about creating a flawless royal image. It was about showing that strength and humility can coexist. Her grounding in family values showed in everything from the way she stood at events to the way she guided her children. Some moments, however, left even royal insiders in quiet awe. Let's reflect on a few of those defining turning points. While all royals face such chapters, Catherine's unfolded in an especially symbolic way. One moment came with the family's move from Kensington Palace to Buckingham, an unmistakable marker of her elevated role. She wasn't alone. William and the children stood with her, unified in the next step. Candid photos of her leading her children into new routines spoke volumes. They showed grace, independence, and responsibility, all wrapped in one image. Then came her appearances at national memorials, draped in black waves to mourners, poised and heartfelt. The pride in William's eyes said more than words ever could. Yet nothing compared to the moment during King Charles's state funeral. Standing tall, curtsying with graceful ease, Catherine exuded a dignity that moved many. It was the moment people realized she had stepped fully into her role. Her hand resting gently on William's back seemed to say, "I've got you." That soft touch was love, wisdom, and support in its purest form. And her transformation didn't end in the public eye, it deepened in private. At home, she remained the steady guide. With Louis, she was his emotional anchor, offering gentle nudges and whispered reassurances that kept him grounded during public appearances. One quick glance, a hand held just long enough, these acts spoke of caregiving that shaped character. Charlotte followed George's lead, and both mirrored the values instilled quietly by their mother. It was parenting woven with confidence and compassion. What's even more intriguing is how Catherine's presence is molding the broader royal family. Her sense of calm and emotional intelligence subtly shapes William's kingship and the upbringing of their children. Her influence isn't flashy, it's foundational. And behind palace gates, a bigger plan is unfolding. The couple's vision of monarchy is fluid, responsive, and deeply rooted in family over formality. The historic address from Kensington, one of the most memorable moments in recent royal history, came when Queen Catherine stepped outside the grand doors of Kensington Palace. Dressed in somber black, her eyes bore the traces of private sorrow, but her composure never wavered. Standing tall atop the stone steps, she delivered a national address that would resonate around the world. Though brief, her words carried immeasurable weight. She honored Charles's life and legacy, acknowledged the nation's grief, and spoke of a hopeful future under William's leadership. Her voice, steady but touched with emotion, pierced through the silence of mourning and offered comfort. The backdrop of Kensington, long the personal home of the Wales family, gave the speech an intimate tone, a striking contrast to the grandeur of traditional royal announcements. This marked Catherine's formal arrival as queen in the public consciousness. Fans across the globe praised her sincerity. There was no artificial perfection, just unfiltered honesty. William, watching from inside the palace, was seen discreetly wiping a tear. Proud, moved, connected. Their bond, especially in times of sorrow, continues to prove that their strength isn't just symbolic, it's deeply real. One touching detail stood out: her attire. Queen Catherine's outfit subtly mirrored Queen Elizabeth's mourning fashion, a gentle nod to tradition that didn't go unnoticed. As she addressed the crowd, silence blanketed the space, followed by an outpouring of applause. It struck a deep chord. People felt the unbroken thread of monarchy pass through her composure. Observers noted how naturally she connected with those around her. Nothing about it felt staged, it came from instinct. Behind that moment was a mother who had softly spoken words of reassurance to her children before stepping into history. The result was a queen who felt not just official but entirely at home in her role. Calm, capable, and real. Public and media response. The nation's reaction was immediate and profound, an overwhelming wave of affection for both King William and Queen Catherine. Major media outlets praised Catherine's speech, calling it a masterclass in dignity and quiet strength, reflecting the core spirit of the modern monarchy. Social media lit up. One post declared the couple a royal power team, with William's 76% approval rating cited as evidence of their growing popularity. News agencies around the world covered the moment, showcasing polls that showed 66% of the public favoring William as king. But this was more than admiration, it was genuine connection, driven by a shared sense of family and empathy. While a few dissenting voices appeared, they were quickly drowned out by a flood of online hashtags like #KingWilliamV and #QueenCatherine trended worldwide, with users sharing clips of their humanitarian work and heartfelt interactions. What made the moment land so powerfully was its honesty. People saw echoes of Princess Diana in William's compassion, and glimpses of Queen Elizabeth in Catherine's quiet poise. Inside the palace, sources close to the family revealed a sense of closeness that had grown even stronger behind palace walls. Emotional family moments unfolded quietly, with Catherine's influence guiding not just her children but the emotional tone of the household. Her soft, consistent parenting style extended into the national mood, offering subtle leadership in a time of deep reflection. Polls conducted after these key events showed continued support for the monarchy at 66%, with many citing William and Catherine's stability as the foundation. But there's more at play than just public approval. This widespread support is actively shaping the future of their reign. Catherine's strengths, especially in areas like diplomacy and global engagements, a shift in royal direction. This couple is charting a course with options, not limits. Whether in public duty or personal decisions, their ability to adapt makes them uniquely prepared for the challenges ahead. Looking forward, as King William V and Queen Catherine begin their reign in earnest, the road ahead shines with both promise and purpose. Royal insiders suggest this isn't just a continuation, it's a transformation. A monarchy reimagined for the 21st century, grounded in timeless values but built with a modern sensibility. William has long supported the idea of a more focused, streamlined royal family, one that reflects the pace and needs of contemporary society. Reports indicate he may even forego a permanent move to Buckingham Palace, choosing a more efficient and accessible working model. It's a decision that echoes what many citizens have long hoped to see: a royal family that's visible, flexible, and deeply connected to the public it serves. William's passions will continue to shape the crown's future. His landmark Earthshot Prize, aimed at solving environmental challenges, is expected to grow under his leadership, building on his father's legacy while forging new global partnerships. Initiatives like Heads Together, which William helped launch to tackle mental health stigma, will likely become central to the new royal agenda. A nation still coping with profound loss and change, Catherine's influence is equally vital. Her focus on early childhood development, championed through the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood, brings long-term vision into the spotlight. Her work aims to shape resilient, empathetic future generations, an effort that complements William's global mission. Together, they're forging a new kind of royalty, one rooted in duty, but rich in compassion. Big changes feel achievable when guided by people who care deeply and live authentically. And it's not just policies shaping the future. Their family itself is a blueprint for what's to come. There's talk of softening long-held protocols, like the unwritten rule, preventing senior royals from flying together. Relaxing such traditions may offer Prince George more normal family moments as the new heir to the throne. Behind the scenes, William and Catherine are said to be building a trusted inner circle staff and advisors who embrace their modern values. No more stiff hierarchies. Instead, a close-knit, efficient team grounded in empathy and practical thinking. Difficult decisions may also lie ahead. Limiting or restructuring roles for figures like Prince Andrew, for example, would signal a continued commitment to transparency, responsibility, and reform. And through it all, their children remain the heart of the story. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are being raised with choices, not obligations. From diplomacy to dance, from sports to science, the young royals are being prepared for real-world challenges, not just ceremonial roles. It's a break from tradition, but it's also the path forward. Public sentiment remains solid, with social feeds filled with messages of admiration. Approval ratings hover at over 70%, reflecting the public's appreciation for a royal couple who lead with integrity and warmth. So, what does this mean for Britain? A monarchy evolving not just to survive, but to inspire. Whispers from Palisades suggest more surprises to come, like increased digital outreach to connect with young citizens or expanded charitable initiatives reaching new communities. Believe this is only the beginning of something remarkable. What moment moved you the most during this powerful transition? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more heartfelt royal stories that go beyond the headlines. Coming up next, a story from the archives that may just change the way you see the crown.